In my entire life, I have never met a woman more miserable. I have never heard of the story of any woman more miserable. I have seen women gone through things. I have seen young girls made mistake. And there is one mistake I have continuously seen a lot of us young women make. And continuously, it baffles me why we never get to understand why we make the decisions we make and fall into the traps that we do. Every time I think of this story, it aches my heart. I ask myself a lot of questions. Is this something I can do? Can I endure all of this for a man who doesn't want me? For how long can I continuously push myself, project my feelings on a man who has clearly told me he is not interested in being with me? I don't know why a woman should do that to herself, to her unborn children, to herself, and to her unborn children. There is a story of this woman that I read some time ago, and I am so sure you too have read that story, but probably have never thought about it from the angle I want you to think about it today. If you're a woman, watch this video to the end and listen very keenly to everything I'm about to say in this video. I'm sure we all remember vividly the story of Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Jacob worked for Laban 7 whole years, hoping that at the end of those 7 years, he would be given the hand of his beloved Rachel. But after 7 years of serious toiling for Laban, Laban played a fast one on him and gave him Leah, Rachel's elder sister, in place of Rachel to Jacob as wife. I do not want us to look at Rachel. I don't want us to look at Laban. I want our focus today to be on Leah, because the very mistake Leah made is the very mistake some ladies are making, young girls are making, and many more of us will still make, because we are desperate, because we want to be in relationships, because we want to be loved. A lot of us will make the same mistake. And I am making this video because I want you to avoid this mistake. It is very costly and it sucks life out of you. Leah is given to Jacob as a wife. Jacob doesn't love her. Jacob has no feelings for her. Probably Laban thought that, well, men have been coming for Rachel and no one is coming for Leah. It would be safer for Leah to get married first before Rachel. Of course, Leah is older and Rachel would not lack a man to marry her. So, instead of turning down such an offer, Leah, out of desperation, went ahead to marry a man who had no feelings for her whatsoever, a man who didn't love her, a man who had no sort of connection for her, and above all, a man who loved and cherished her sister so very much. That is what desperation can do to you. Desperation blinds you. I am hoping that any young woman watching this video does not get to that point in their life where they become so desperate for love, where they become so desperate for attention, where they become so desperate to be with a man that they are willing to accept any offer that comes to them, even if it is what would suck life out of them. I pray that none of us ever get to that point in this life. Let us continue with our story. So, the next morning, Jacob discovers what has been done to him, or the wrong woman has been given to him. He decides again, out of love for Rachel, that he would work for another 7 years, making a total of 14 years, just so that he will be with the woman, Rachel, that he sincerely loved and had feelings for. That is one way you know when a man absolutely truly loves you. He is willing to do everything it takes to keep you and make you his. Going further, he marries two sisters, Rachel, the one he loved, and Leah, the one who continuously begs for his love. I'm sure you don't want to be in a situation when you're constantly begging a man for attention. You're constantly begging a man to notice you. That is one of the worst places a woman can find herself in life. Unfortunately, Rachel wasn't blessed with children as much and as early as Leah was. Jacob had to continuously fulfill his marital duties to Leah, not out of love, but out of necessity. Yes, in order to be fair to her. Leah continuously did everything she could do just to make sure that this man notices her, but that never happened. When you read the story of these two sisters and this man, Jacob, you would understand exactly what I am talking about. Rachel decided that since she cannot conceive, she would give her maid to her husband so they can conceive children for her. Leah, who has been conceiving out of competition with her sister, decided also that she would give her maid to her husband, Jacob, that they too might conceive children, all in the hope of getting Jacob to like her, Jacob to love her, Jacob to notice her. But it never happened. She lived all of her life trying to gain this man's affection, trying to get this man's attention, trying to get this man to notice her. But it never happened. On the other hand, Rachel needed to do nothing for this man to love her. He was hers by divine orchestration. He was hers. She needed not do anything. And that is exactly how it is. When a man is into you, he is into you. You don't need to exert pressure. You don't need to do too much. You don't need to scheme around for him to notice you. You don't need all of that work because he is already yours and yours he is. So even in old age, even when Rachel gave birth to two children, they still became Jacob's favorite. What is one lesson I want you to learn from this story today? Never force yourself on a man, no matter how desperate, no matter how much you desire to be in a relationship, you desire to be loved, you desire to be held, you desire to be called a wife. Do not force yourself on a man. Do not willingly get pregnant for a man who has, in clear terms, told you that he is not interested in you. He doesn't love you. Who has told you he doesn't love you. Do not do it. You end up hurting yourself. You end up hurting even the children that you give birth to. Why? Because you have denied them the fundamental right of having a whole and complete family. And that alone affects the upbringing of a child so much. So do not do it. Men aren't like women. When a woman tells you, I do not want you, I don't love you, I cannot stay with you, I don't have feelings for you, there is a very high chance, there is a very high tendency that if that woman is treated well by a man, by the man, she would develop feelings, she would develop attraction for this man. That is how most of our grandparents were able to get married and stayed in those marriages, because then their marriages were merely arrangement. You see a lady you love, you tell your father, he goes on to tell her father, and a marriage is arranged between you both without any form of initial connection. No. Once a woman is treated right, it is easy for her to fall in love. But the same is not with men. Why is this so? Men are chasers. When you're continuously pushing yourself, throwing yourself at a man, he gets the signal that you are chasing him, and men do not like being chased. I don't know what modernity is selling to you, but that is the truth about it. If a man tells you, I am not interested in you, I do not love you, please move on. For your own good, please do move on. Because there are very high chances, 99.99% chance, that this man would never really look at you the way you want him to look at you. And if you decide that you would go ahead and get pregnant for this man out of your love for him, and because you want to secure your place in his life, because you're hoping that the child would be the reason why this man would suddenly feel attraction towards you, this man would suddenly fall in love with you, then you're making another big mistake. Trust me, so long as he is responsible for that pregnancy, for the really very responsible men, he will take care of the child, cater for the child, be a part of that child's life, but never a part of your life. And for the very irresponsible ones, they would abandon you with the child, telling you they never asked for a baby and you decided to force one on them. So, to be on a very safe side, from the story of Leah, Rachel, and Jacob, learn that you don't force yourself on a man who wants you because you are desperate. You do not get pregnant for a man who doesn't want you because you want to secure your place in his life out of desperation. That is the wrongest route to take trying to get a man. Do not do it. Don't do it. You would find love. Love would come your way, but it might not come from that person you so eagerly desire to receive that love from. The person you're fighting so hard, the person you're trying so much to get stuck with, might not even be that person that God has in mind for you. God might have a better plan for you, and you're trying to short live this plan by forcing yourself on someone who doesn't want you. When a guy doesn't want you, let him go. Do not scheme around. Do not scheme around. Presently, I know of a lady that is going through a lot, because she chose the route of getting pregnant for a man who doesn't love her, who had categorically told her that he is not interested in her. He's not interested in a solid relationship with her. She should move on. But she felt that getting pregnant for this man was the best way to get him entangled with her. You don't force a man to do what he doesn't want to do. You don't do it. So if you're facing any sort of rejection from anyone, don't take it personal. Rejection does not in any way define your self-worth. It does not in any way define how valuable you are. The person just cannot see what you are offering, and it is okay. There is just someone out there that would be so willing to have everything that you are offering, that you have to offer, without you even blinking an eye or exerting force or pressure for him to notice you. So, my dear, be still, be calm. The man that is yours will come your way. The man that God has ordained for you will come your way. Do not throw yourself at a man. Do not force yourself at a man. Do not get pregnant for a man who does not want you. It is a wrong thing for you to do. And we have come to the end of this video, but before we go, please just do this very one thing for me. Please subscribe to this channel. Come on, subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell. Like this video, share, leave for me a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about women forcing themselves on men, or getting pregnant for a man just to get him entangled or to get him hooked with them. And if you've had any experiences like this, or someone around you has had an experience like this, how did they handle it? What happened thereafter?